The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the chittering laughter of the assembled delegates. Ambassador Zekthul of the Kronari Empire stood at the central podium, his four muscular arms gesturing dismissively toward the human delegation. "Look at them," Zekthul's voice boomed through his translator, each word dripping with contempt. "Soft skin that tears at the slightest touch. Bones that snap under minimal pressure. They cannot even breathe properly in half the atmospheres we consider mild." His compound eyes glittered with amusement. "And yet these fragile creatures dare to request membership in our military alliance?" The chamber erupted in agreement. The crystalline Vexani chimed in harmonic mockery, while the hulking Gorthak delegates pounded their stone-like fists in approval. Even the usually diplomatic Etherians flickered with colors of derision. Ambassador Sarah Chen sat motionless in the human section, her dark eyes never leaving Zekthul's face. Beside her, General Martinez's jaw tightened, but he remained silent as instructed. "The Kronari military carries standard field equipment weighing 200 kilograms per soldier," Zekthul continued, puffing out his armored chest. "Our warriors can march for days without rest, fight in temperatures that would cook these humans alive, and survive injuries that would kill them instantly." He turned toward Chen with what passed for a smile among his species. What could these delicate beings possibly offer to the strongest military alliance in the galaxy? Chen stood slowly, her movement drawing the chamber's attention. At barely 1.6 meters tall and weighing perhaps 60 kilograms, she appeared impossibly small against the backdrop of alien giants. "Honored delegates," she began, her voice clear and steady. "You speak of strength, of endurance, of what warriors can carry. May I share a story from my homeworld?" Zekthul waved a dismissive hand. "If you must waste our time with human weakness, proceed." Chen nodded graciously. On Earth, in a region called the Himalayas, there exists a people called the Sherpa. The mountains there reach heights where the air becomes so thin that most humans cannot function. The cold is deadly, the terrain treacherous. She paused, letting this sink in. And yet, for over a century, when outsiders have attempted to climb the highest peak, Mount Everest, they have relied upon these Sherpa people. A few delegates shifted, unsure where this was heading. "The foreign climbers," Chen continued, "strong men and women from across Earth carry perhaps 20 kilograms of personal gear. They struggle with every step, require oxygen tanks, frequent rest, and constant support." Her voice grew stronger. "The Sherpa guides, meanwhile, carry 40, 50, sometimes 60 kilograms of equipment, not just their own, but the climbers' tents, food, oxygen, and supplies. They make multiple trips up and down the mountain while the climbers make one." The chamber had grown quiet. "But that is not the story I wish to tell," Chen said, her eyes meeting Zekthul's directly. "Last year, a Sherpa child, barely 12 years old, weighing 35 kilograms, helped rescue 3 experienced mountaineers trapped in a blizzard. This child carried 25 kilograms of rescue equipment up the mountain, through conditions that had already killed 2 stronger men." General Martinez stood, activating his holographic display. Images filled the air above the delegates. The child, small and slight, but with eyes that burned with determination. The rescue mission in howling winds and blinding snow, the 3 climbers being brought down alive. That child carried 71% of her own body weight up a mountain, where the air has 1/3 the oxygen of sea level, in temperatures of -40 degrees, through winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, Chen stated matter-of-factly. She did this not because she was the strongest available, but because it needed to be done. Zekthul's mandibles clicked uncertainly. "An interesting anecdote, but—" "Ambassador Zekthul," Chen interrupted softly, "you mentioned that Kronari soldiers carry 200 kilograms of equipment. Impressive indeed. For a Kronari warrior weighing 800 kilograms, that represents 25% of body weight." She gestured to the image still floating above them. This human child carried nearly 3 times that percentage, in conditions that would kill most species in this chamber within minutes. The Etherian delegates' colors had shifted to contemplative blues and purples. "The comparison is significant," Chen nodded. "But you misunderstand if you think this is about one exceptional child. This is about what we call the human condition. We are, as you say, fragile. We break easily. We die from things that might merely inconvenience you." Her voice carried a note of pride now. "And yet we endure, we adapt. We carry more than we should be able to, survive what should kill us. and keep moving when every instinct screams at us to stop. She activated her own display, showing images of humans in various extreme conditions. Firefighters running into burning buildings, rescue workers pulling survivors from earthquakes, medics treating patients in war zones, scientists working in Antarctic conditions that made the Himalayas seem pleasant. Every day on Earth, ordinary humans, shopkeepers, teachers, parents, perform acts that would be considered heroic by most galactic standards, not because they are particularly strong or brave, but because their fellow humans need them to. The chamber was completely silent now. We do not offer you our strength, Ambassador Zekthul, because we are not the strongest. We do not offer you our durability, because we are not the most durable. Chen's voice carried across the vast chamber with quiet intensity. We offer you something else entirely. We offer you humans who will carry more than they can bear, endure more than they should survive, and continue fighting long after logic says they should surrender. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of delegates from a dozen species. You want to know what fragile beings can offer the strongest military alliance in the galaxy? We offer you warriors who have spent their entire evolutionary history learning to overcome their own weaknesses. We offer you soldiers who see the impossible as merely Tuesday. Zekthul's forearms hung at his sides, his compound eyes reflecting confusion and something else, perhaps the first stirrings of respect. That Sherpa child, Chen concluded, weighed less than your standard sidearm, Ambassador, and she accomplished something that your strongest warriors, for all their impressive capabilities, have never had to do. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. She learned to be strong enough. The vote, when it came, was unanimous.